Hello, welcome back to F1 Manager 24 and Creator Team mode. It's time for Silverstone, and this time I'll try not to accidentally mute my microphone and forget about it, or not notice it, or whatever I did. I don't know what I did, frankly. Yeah, apologies for that. As I would have put on in text form, you didn't really miss much, if I'm completely honest. You didn't really miss much. Promising start, but then eventually, slowly, literally nothing happened in the race, and gradually we ended up into our default 13th, 14th, because no one retired of note. So, just in case you want to see the full race results, there they are. Yeah, as you can see, boring. Somehow Lando, despite the fact he messed up on the first lap and ended up last on the first lap, still ended up 5th and ahead of his teammate by what was about 30 seconds. So, not quite sure how that one worked. No idea what's going on with the justification there, but what it doesn't show is that we were only about 12 seconds behind Daniel at the end of the race, which, considering we started the season 12 seconds behind Albon, is progress. We have made up the entire gap, at the very least, that Williams had to RB originally, because now we're ahead of Williams, and now the same distance that we were behind Williams originally to RB. So, nearly there. Not really going to do much more development though, so I think we're pretty much going to be stuck here for the rest of the year unless there's a chaos race. But Silverstone. Oh, that's fun. I'm not the only one seeing this, right? What's going on here? It's a perfectly functioning game. But I need to do one thing for Silverstone, and you wouldn't have got teased for this because it was in the muted bit. Welcome to our special livery race. Yeah, it looks a bit weird, doesn't it? The explanation is actually relatively straightforward. It's based on the flag for Lincolnshire, where I come from. So I figured it's the UK race will honour my heritage and therefore the team's heritage. I'd like to think we would be based there for whatever reason, I guess. In the same way Lotus are based in Norfolk and kind of take the Norwich City colours. I mean, I haven't taken the Lincoln City colours, but I've taken the Lincolnshire flag colours, which, as flag goes, wild, really. In terms of colour scheme, not a particularly fancy flag in general, but the colour scheme is bold, and therefore, so's this. It's blue and green squares with a red cross in the middle with a yellow outline, so that's why we've got all 4 of those colours. It's just livery, I won't bother with the suits. That's it in terms of news. We're just rebuilding, obviously, parts that we're lacking in. We don't actually have enough underfloors for this, but we're going to have to risk it. And it's Hungary and Belgium to come after that. We are only building a rear wing, as we talked about last time, so that's the only new part we'll have for the second half of the season. I think I'll build one new chassis, and that'll be the only other part we'll do in the next ADR period, and then we'll focus entirely on research for the rest of the year with whatever money we have. Facilities wise, yeah, we're obviously a little bit stuck. Just a PSA, never upgrade these two. The monthly upkeeps do not outweigh the benefits you gain. Upgrade everything else, just never upgrade these two. And if I remember rightly, if it's the same as it was last year, Design Center level 4 versus 5 is kind of negligible as well. So take it to 4. I don't think you ever need to take it to 5. Factories obviously depending on what you need. I needed a third project capacity space just to keep up with parts, so I upgraded mine to 2. Next one is 4. They're very expensive, of course. The upkeeps on these obviously do go quite high. Development speed can be quite nice, but still, realistically, 6%, 12% is negligible when you're trying to like reduce something from 8 days. 6 to 12%. It's not really going to help you too much in the long term. That needs to be like going to 50% in terms of development speed for it to be worthwhile. To cut something from like 8 days down to 6 days, that would be worthwhile, but this is going from 8 days to 7.2, which might round down or might not, depending on how the game works. It's not really worthwhile, is it? Suspension, though, definitely always do, and car part test center definitely always do, and design center definitely always do up to 4 at least. So that's that, and obviously all the other facilities, just staff-wise, these two. All of these. Tour center is a weird one. Oh, Tour Center doesn't have a monthly upkeep anymore. I don't know if it did have a monthly upkeep before this, but refurbishing it can actually cost you more than its weekly income, which makes 0 sense. Like, the upgrade on it isn't really anything. You add 12,500. So it's one of those weird ones, the Tour Center. Kind of feel like you should bother to bring it all the way up to the top, but I don't think it really does much. But I think it now does team marketability, which I don't know if it did last year, because that obviously, team marketability is a sponsorship thing, which we didn't have last year. So I don't know if that is new there, so that might give it another benefit at least. But honestly, that could be something under the hood to try and sort out yourself to balance it out, to make it worthwhile actually building it up. Because a weekly income of 75 grand versus 87.5. Oh, 12.5 grand. That'll buy you just over 1% of a new gearbox. Anyway, Silverstone race targets, still 18th. We are predicted 14th for whatever reason.
Welcome, and come on in to the home of British motor racing. We're here in legendary Silverstone, where the very first Formula One World Championship Grand Prix was held back in 1950. It's a place where every tuft of grass breathes motorsport, and the crowd are already crackling with excitement. In the last round, Max Verstappen flew to victory, the Dutchman proving that he can be absolutely unstoppable when he's in such fine form. So stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. The weekend starts here.
Well, practice is going to be fun by a lot of things. There's rain in practice and potentially qualifying, but the race is cloudy but not rainy. Right then, see you for qualifying.
Qualifying is coming up, and the drivers will be ready and raring to go.
The high-speed corners at Silverstone are a great challenge for the cars and drivers. The technical Sector 1 rewards strong mechanical grip, while high-speed aerodynamic efficiency will come into play in the final two sectors.
Now, Karun, you and I were actually just talking about that man there, Max Verstappen. How do you think he'll be feeling today?
They were looking pretty sharp in practice and setting good lap times, so they're probably feeling fairly confident now. But a good practice time doesn't always guarantee a strong qualifying outcome.
So here we are, ready to resume.
Right then, qualifying. It's Inters to start. It is Inters throughout. Game clearly heard me last time, or whenever it was, when I said that's the most consistent rain level I've ever seen in F1 Manager, and decided to prove me wrong. Everyone's gone Inters, that's fine. Checking nobody made an absolute cock up of that. There's our car in all its damp glory right now. I'll be honest, with the sponsors, doesn't look super optimal with the sponsors, but as an overall design, I quite like it. For a one-off, obviously, I wouldn't commit to that for a full season. Someone's had a moment. 'Twas Gasly, but only with a rough time there. I say rough, still 16th. Hülkenberg and Bottas have injured parts, which is odd. Mick is 11th. He's not really behind anyone, but both RB is down. Were they both stuck in a train? No, Daniel Ricciardo is completely free of anyone, so I can maybe understand Tsunoda's compromised perhaps by a Haas there. But then there's a Merc in that batch as well, so you'd think they'd be held up if that was the case. So I don't know what's happened. It's officially got damp, so I don't know if... I think it may actually, if my eyes aren't deceiving me, it would have been drier at the start than the end here. We'll put another lap in just to make sure, but we won't go now. I'm expecting Tsunoda and Ricciardo to find some time somewhere in this session. They do, but only 16th. It's put Maloney out, but as things stand, I think they'll all go a third time. Mick, unfortunately, that's going to be where he's going to be doing his lap. So, sorry, Mick. You're the one less in danger anyway. We'll focus on Zane. Zane has a full ERS and gearbox, so actually it doesn't really matter where he qualifies. So, penalty should take him to the back, which I think they fixed because that was a problem. I don't think they'll go faster anyway, unless Zane had an issue. I don't, because it's damper now than it was when he did his first lap. In fact, somehow it's just got damper and damper. It did say originally it was going to go down, but it hasn't. If he's not done a faster second sector, I won't be confident of anyone improving here. So there's no surprises. It was just a case of he had like a weird incident or hampering, whatever, in the final sector. It may have gained some of that 6/10 he had lacking on Mick, but that might be the car part he doesn't have compared to Mick. That could be the difference there. And just general. Mind you, he's got the same driver rating. Adaptability could be the issue. I don't know if that factors in when you're on the right tyre in the right condition. So if he's lost Zane, he'll start last anyway if the penalties come in. Inters to start again is odd. Alright, so Inters to start, and again, it's going to be better at the start than it is at the end. So off you go, Mick. We'll follow around on this damp lap. It's all blue from this perspective, isn't it? Our car, but I know there's other colours out there. The rear shot's quite fun with the stripes, and the rear ring stripes as well. Someone's had a moment behind us. That's not going to affect us, thankfully. Can I estimate the Haas, maybe? It was. I mean, I can see his first sector. No idea how that stacks up. I think Tsunoda had done the fastest before Max did, so that's concerning from Tsunoda that he's found his feet here. Damn it. But Mick coming up hanger, I want to say. I wish I knew these off by heart. Again, Tsunoda fastest second sector before Max gets there, I presume. Mind you, it's only Mick and Yuki that are doing... They're the first two. Max is literally the third driver. So Mick obviously does the fastest third sector until Yuki crosses the line. Probably faster than him this time. Yeah, by a margin, I guess. A full second. Well, I don't know what they were doing originally. Perez has an interesting situation, though. Oh, I thought Perez was on a flying lap. He seemed to be fighting the Haas. Faster than Sargent is Mick's only thing right now, but he's doing another lap here and now. 10th faster in Sector 1. Still no traffic, thankfully. This is actually the first vehicles he would catch. Faster than Albon, who is slower than his teammate. Albon's already done a lap and then locked up. That's no issue. Although, where is he in terms of hampering other drivers? Nowhere. Slower middle sector for Mick, I think. Yeah. It is interesting, a lot of people on out laps right now. Oh, Magnussen had the issue on his flying lap. That's a shame for him. Or it forced him to abandon his flying lap. I'm so confused. But Mick didn't improve, though, on his second. Fascinating to see. Oh, actually has got marginally drier for this lot for some reason. Oh, that's annoying. I can't really benefit from that. I'm going to send Mick... I've sent Mick out well ahead of the end, just in case it doesn't get too much wetter again, because this is marginally drier than it was when he did his original lap. Only marginally, though. So I'm hoping he can get a lap in before he gets kind of back to that level of dampness. It's only like a matter of less than 1/10 of a millimetre, but it is a faster first sector than his original flying lap by 0.2, so that could just be tyre temperature, doing it on manual. And that's the worst place to catch a vehicle. Cool. Thanks, game. Never mind. Yeah, slower. Never mind. Oh, well. 13th we'll take. Yuki Tsunoda, I don't know what was wrong with Yuki Tsunoda in the first one, but he found the pace in the second one. Ended up 8th ahead of Hamilton and Stroll. Pierre Gasly's got a penalty as well. Don't know what for. Doesn't actually start last. Whatever Pierre Gasly's is more than Zane's. So, crucially, however, dry race. And we have all the soft tyres because we didn't use any in qualifying. I mean, Mick just about gets away with it. Gonna pull him back a lap. Wait, how does Mick get away with it but Zane doesn't? Zane's got better smoothness. How does Mick get away with this but Zane's not going to? That makes no sense. Zane's the one with better smoothness. One stop is so much slower, apparently. We'll work on the assumption that Zane will be lapped, so the last lap doesn't really matter too much. We can obviously also just do that to make sure he gets to the end, but just knowing he's got the wiggle room. I know what it is. Zane's had a tiff with his race engineer, so his overall mentality is neutral. Because Mick's is positive, his smoothness is actually better now. That's what it is. I mean, Silverstone not necessarily known for its incidents as such, in the same sense of other tracks, but still a reasonable chance of safety car, I think, here. 1.9 is a lap, kilogram-wise. 52 the race distance. 45 the minimum. This is what I mean. Like, it was only 7 laps you could take out of, what was it, Austria? It was only 7 laps you could take out of Canada, and that was, what, a 70-lap race, something like that, late 60s? And yet you can take out 7 here as well, which to me makes me think this is a easier to recover track, but I'm not going to do that, obviously. We'll go 4.
Final checks are being carried out by the teams, and it won't be long until we get this race underway. If Pierre Gasly's feeling the pressure, he's certainly not showing it.
Sitting in 22nd with a long and difficult race lying ahead, sure to be a test of resilience and patience.
But remember, anything can happen in Formula One. Hold on tight, it's the British Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
So, minus 7.5 kilograms of fuel off the line should give us a little bit of an advantage in that sense. Everyone appears to be on a soft, which is annoying for strategies and getting an advantage early on, but Mick holds firm as things stand, although I say holds firm, he's on the inside of George Russell. Homeboy being forced off the track. It looks like he's got the drive on Lance Stroll. Maybe not. Perhaps Lance Stroll nipped him in a little bit there. That's a lovely camera angle. Maloney has got Zhou Guanyu at the back. That must have been off the line because we've not had a replay for it. You can see the difference a brand new ERS makes, by the way. Look at the difference between the ERS on Mick and Maloney. Same part of the lap. Well, actually, Mick's used more of his, so that might have been to do with fighting. Because I can actually see he's utilised more and recovered less. Oh, he got Stroll. Well, I was too busy focusing on the actual ERS numbers. He nicked Stroll. It's a cops, I want to say. I mean, I'm having 2021 flashbacks, but it was 21, wasn't it? Whatever Mick did there really compromised Stroll, I think, because he's outside of a second. But inching back in again. As long as he stays on the tail of this train of vehicles. Hamilton must be side by side with Tsunoda. He is. Train starts with sights. And DRS is activated, so Hulkenberg nabbed by... He's not on a soft, actually. Into the final few corners. Ow, that's vibration. Immediately having a look at the Alpine by the looks of things as well. So, Mickey, everyone's got DRS here. I think we're really good tyre preservation-wise here, actually, as well. Because in practice, I did notice it took a few laps on medium to get the tyres up to temperature. So we might be all right, like really shoving these tyres, not that we can on this strategy, but... Sorry, I didn't even notice the overtake had happened as well. I'm being very blind today. What's going on here? Inside of Danny Rick. Wow, that's, yep, sure. Opportunistic, to say the least. He spotted Danny Rick on Danny Rick. He's ninth. Wait, he's got Tsunoda as well. I love being on this low fuel at the start because it makes our drivers super feisty. He says overtake Tsunoda, but he's not actually got it done yet. There we go. He's got it done now. Alonso is the break in 7th. All right, take that off now. Did Maloney already have Bottas? Yeah, I think he did because he was Ocon ahead of him. Oh, no, he didn't. I think they both got Bottas then. That's straightforward enough on hang straight. DRS assisted. I love the fact that Zayn is either incredulous or cocky with those 3 lines that he has of dialogue. It's one or the other. There's no in between. There's no like just enthusiastic or jubilant or just well hey kind of thing. It's just it's either incredulous, oh my goodness, or how do you like that? It's a bit annoying, really. So we've come off everything. Mick's still in DRS range, thankfully. Tyre-wise, we are marginally worse than basically everyone around us. I think we pushed last lap when the RBs didn't, so that's why we got them. But the further up that Mick can sort of hold on to a DRS, then the better, really. Meanwhile, Zayn's got to get Ocon, but won't get it done before Magnussen. Beckett's hanger straight then. No DRS for Ocon there. But it is Alonso holding up Hamilton. Hamilton fighting Alonso, forcing him to go defensive at least. That will get Mick a couple of tenths out of this. Well, a lot of tenths actually, because it really compromised Hamilton. To the point where he goes off and parks. Get on the track. Lewis, get on the track. There's 7 seconds to Hulkenberg. He deems 10 seconds to show Guan Yu enough and then stops for him anyway. Tsunoda has a mechanical issue, minor. I mean, we'll click on the replay because it is... Oh, it's just Maloney overtaking Hamilton, who's just parked there. I don't get to watch the Mick overtakes Hamilton one. See what I mean? So Hamilton's got to recover then. Really ruined his tyres by doing that, though. Wow, 20% he's lost. Tsunoda, though, hasn't registered a fault, but it will be engine, I would imagine. Oh, actually, Daniel Ricciardo, 40.37. Both of his mechanicals are not great. Yuki at least has a good gearbox now. So I want to check drivers like Russell, who still doesn't really have a new ARS. And the 2 Alpines. Alonso struggling kind of on all 3 fronts a little bit, I would argue there. And Lance Stroll doesn't have any ARS either. So they're the ones in our fight at the moment, at least. Mick does not have DRS on Alonso somehow. Not quite sure how that's happened. Still. Mick, are you all right, mate? What's going on here? Why are you so slow all of a sudden? Oh, actually, I see what's happened. Alonso got Piastri's DRS. Meanwhile, at the back, what I thought was going to happen last time has happened now. Sorry, has he done this through Maggers and Beckett's? That's different. You know what, actually, for the first time ever, you can say that line. That's a great move. Yeah, what's happened here is Alonso nabbed Piastri's DRS, so that dragged him away from Mick, forced him out of his DRS. Hulkenberg's got a mechanical fault that's somehow being registered as a car part fault. Honestly, I'm all right with that overtake happening there, because hopefully that puts Mick behind Daniel for the hanger straight. And hopefully we can maybe start to recover a bit of fuel behind him, because Daniel's car's not superb. Maloney is 2 seconds ahead of Ocon, so I think he can start recovering fuel from where he is as well. But I think at this point, we're behind a vehicle that we can stay in range of whilst recovering fuel with DRS on, perhaps. Oh, it's a bit sketchy, if I'm honest. Russell and Stroll are fighting enough to maybe push them out of their own DRS range. I think we've got just enough in the tyres to get to where we want to do. I mean, Mick's actually fighting despite recovering fuel here. Ultimately, I hope this doesn't stick. It doesn't. Because I want to use Daniel. I feel like Alonso and Tsunoda are going to drop out of the McLaren's train at some point. Hopefully now, actually. Nope. Sadly not. Magnussen's fallen into the clutches of Albon and been passed. Maloney's caught Sargent despite recovering fuel as well. Ricciardo's got a manacle. Oh, sorry, oh yeah, we noticed that. We noticed that Ricciardo didn't have engine or gearbox, actually. So realistically, long term, actually, I kind of want to check the McLarens because I feel like they are superbly useless right now. Oh, Norris is on a hard tyre. That's what the problem is. Piastri doesn't have much of an ERS, neither does Norris, but Norris is on a hard tyre, so that's why Norris is slow. I did wonder why he wasn't keeping up with the front runners in particular. And they're fighting each other, of course, which doesn't help. But we are going to have to recover fuel, otherwise we will run out. According to this, actually, we'll actually make it to lap 50. Maloney, can you get Logan, please? Would you mind just passing Logan? That would be great. I'd love it if you could pass Logan. Snowden's falling out DRS of Alonso. Crucial. Now, with Hamilton vacating the top 10, the RB's having issues. This might be the first time we have a sniff of a point. I'll watch this replay because it's been a few laps since we've had one. Up the inside, Logan Sargent at the last possible moment at the end of the hangar straight. I'll take that. That's great. I mean, you've cycled through all your lines now, Zane. So Ricardo's got Mick. DRS assisted, I assume. 1.9 was a lap, wasn't it? I think we are recovering fuel quite quickly here. I feel like if Mick's ever in danger of not having DRS, we come off. But Maloney's not really dropping Sargent. I'll just give Zane a lap off conserve just to make sure he drops Sargent. I'm going to give Mick a lap off as well just to make sure he stays in DRS range. Because I think we're recovering quite well. I think that we got like a full kilogram back in like 3 or 4 laps. So I think it's not too difficult to get the fuel back on conserve. So Maloney's dropped Sargent now. I'm just going to stick him on light because I think whilst it would be a double stack if we brought him in the same lap, there's enough of a gap. He just needs to be a little bit safer on his tyres, I think. Whereas Mick has a little bit more just because his smoothness is better today. Ricciardo has closed on Tsunoda, who doesn't have DRS anymore, which means we've closed on Tsunoda as well. A little bit surprised we've not overtaken Daniel. Like, we're just in flying formation right now, which is quite funny. Magnussen pits early. I feel like Ricciardo's just gone for it for some reason. He just pulled out like 4 tenths all of a sudden. Stroll and Russell have kind of preserved their tyres along with Alonso and Tsunoda. Ricciardo's aren't much better. Hamilton's on 36% now. He's just gone on full conserve mode with his tyres while he was at the back there, having lost that 20%. Maloney can go back into conserve mode. Hamilton pits now, earlier than he probably intended to. Stroll and Russell by the end of this race will be ahead of us. It's just hoping that Tsunoda and Ricciardo's issues slow them down enough over the course of a race that we end up ahead of them. This is our chance of the point, is to be ahead of the RBs. Stroll and Russell behind. I'll expect to be ahead of us by the end of the race. We're holding them right now because Ricciardo's holding them up. It's not really Zane. It's not really Mick that's holding them up. And I kind of think they squabble enough between themselves, if I'm honest. As Mick finally gets Ricciardo. One up the inside. We'll take that. Thank you very much. Ricciardo is almost a second behind. I'm almost tempted to push the fuel. I'm tempted to push the fuel temporarily and then just go soft on the tyres for like a lap. Just to make sure we get to the pit stop lap. Sargent has a pit stop issue, which makes life easier for Zane. 2 seconds behind there. Stroll's gone through and at least dragged Ricciardo along with him. That's prevented George from getting through. Both Tsunoda and Ricciardo pit the same lap. They're going to get an undercut. Has Zane crossed the line yet? No, he hasn't. Okay. We'll get the notification for him now. So they're going to end up pitting exactly on basically 30% tyres, I think. Or even just under. Crucially, Stroll doesn't pit. So they kind of preserved their tyres longer, as we kind of saw. They were about 10% better off. Just making sure Zane was pitting there. So Mick does pit from 10th, I think it was, essentially. Come on. No! You can't do that now. What on earth? What were you waiting for? Doesn't hold up Zane, at least, which is the smallest of mercies. 2.9, that's woeful. Crucially got ahead of Ocon. I mean, we're only 2 seconds behind Daniel. Did Daniel have his own issue? Because he's like 3 seconds down on his teammate more than he was already. Start off, Ocon. Just get the tyres up to temperature. Stroll and Russell pit this lap, but it's totally irrelevant because of the error. Could be worthwhile actually just pushing Zane now while Albon's in the pit as well. Didn't think about that. So Tsunoda undercuts Stroll and Russell, which of course already happened. Stroll and Russell overcut Ricciardo, somehow. Has Ricciardo come out on a hard? No, he's on a medium. Tsunoda came out on another soft, actually. That's why he's managed to make a little bit more headway. But now we play the waiting game. Mick, for some reason, cannot keep up with Daniel Ricciardo, who is damaged. So I think we're stuffed then, aren't we? Zane, 1.5 behind Maloney. I think Ricciardo's got a mechanical fault for the other thing that he was damaged in. So I don't know which one went first, but now he's got mechanical faults on both engine and gearbox. I think that's what it is, because it's not got more severe on the notification. Magnussen might be holding up Albon, which might allow Maloney to get caught up eventually. We'll go conserve on both, though, for now. There's a yellow flag somewhere in the world. Ocon just went wide, that was it. So this might be a bit of a boring stint. Although, Ricciardo clearly was pushing before because Mick is slowly edging in. And now he's slowly edging away again. Ricciardo's fault's getting worse. They could actually just straight up take him out of the race. In fact, Mick is closing in lap by lap now. But he is getting further away from Tsunoda, which is a problem. Meanwhile, literally as I come back onto 1 times, Zane's got Magnussen with... That's Hamilton behind. Thankfully compromised Hamilton on the way out. That's going to hold Hamilton up a little bit longer for Zane's sake. Zane's got to get 18th, let's not forget as well. Hamilton's managed to get his way back up to 16th though, which is not far enough behind Mick that I'm feel comfortable. Is Hamilton on another soft? No, he's on a medium. But he would have appeared onto that early, so he's always going to have compromised tyres, I think. Sainz has a mechanical fault now. And as of the last lap, we just nipped into DRS range of Daniel Ricciardo. So let's turn off the fuel recovery. Now we're 25 laps half distance. We got it to 4.3, which is good. Although I think Daniel might have just recognised the fact that we got into DRS and started pushing again. So we'll go back on conserve until we actually are comfortably within DRS range. Yeah, I think Daniel will sense danger, then started pushing again briefly. And we're back close again. There was a yellow flag briefly. I don't know who for. Bottas. Never mind then. Ricciardo is 15 seconds off his teammate. I mean, if we can... Oh, God. Hamilton's still coming through, though. And will come through. Ideally, I need either Sainz's issue or Tsunoda's issue to be complete blow-up, because I think Hamilton's coming through. I think we will get Ricciardo eventually. Another yellow flag. But for who? Bottas again. Have an absolute nightmare is Bottas. I mean, he's been damaged with the diamond for the entire race. DRS for Mick, though. He's finally nabbed it. Hamilton went through Maloney and now has dropped him by 10 seconds. Wild. Well, half race distance. He's only got to recover about 1 kilogram, so we can take him off conserve. Because Zane will be lapped. In fact, Zane is already lapped, I think. Yeah, he is. Another yellow flag. Is it Bottas again? No, it's the other one. It's Zhou Guanyu this time. Oh, they're having a nightmare. Just want to know which part of Ricciardo's gone to worse gearbox. Okay. Oh, his engine thing actually resolved. Just the gearbox is now completely out. And in fact, Yuki Tsunoda's engine issue has resolved itself seemingly, even though it's still bad. And Sainz's is gearbox. Should that get worse? So we can't bank on Yuki Tsunoda, but bear in mind Yuki Tsunoda's gap to Ricciardo is based on the fact largely as well that he's got the soft tyre on. So Mick is 8 seconds ahead of Hamilton, and Hamilton's not been lapped. So Hamilton is about, I would say about just over half of the gap between him and Maloney ahead of the leaders. So 6. So we'll say it's about 12 to 13 seconds before Mick's in danger of being lapped. And hello, Mick. Looking at the wrong driver entirely, of course. He's nabbed Daniel at last. Confidence is good. Superb camera angle for this. That was the worst possible camera angle for that overtake, really. He's done it outside of DRS, which is interesting. Shouldn't... I was going to give Daniel the DRS back here, which is not good racecraft, really. Because he's still on conserve here, so he's going to brake earlier. Although he does absolutely smash Daniel, force him to slam his brakes on. Hamilton was closing in on Albon, but now he isn't. For whatever reason, he's just done a lap that was 1.5 seconds slower. Albon is way faster. Oh no! For whatever reason, Albon was way faster on the previous lap than our drivers. And then did a 1:38.2 last lap. Was that because he got lapped? Did a 1:36 this time, so not much worse. But Albon, for whatever reason, is faster at this point in time. We are conserving fuel, of course. He pitted earlier, so his tyres aren't as good. And Ricciardo is outside of the DRS, crucially. If he can stay outside, that would be even better. I think I'm going to take Mick off fuel now. Tsunoda's issues come back. Hamilton's now got an issue. And Daniel has been dropped, so those mechanical issues aren't taking him out of the race with Mick. 11th is on the cards, because Hamilton's not really gaining at this stage. I think on brand new tyres, he might, even though he's got an issue. We've got a long way to go before we pit. Tsunoda's gone soft, so he might be going hard from here. 20 laps, might be able to do it on a medium, I suppose. Yeah, 19 seconds we've got to get, but he's going to pit earlier, so he's going to have the advantage on this now. Did get held up by his own teammate briefly. So Tsunoda's going to have a whole pit stop on us, but he's on a medium now, and we go onto a soft. Hulkenberg's got a mechanical fault that's going to take him out entirely, which is weird because it was a tyre. I'm so confused. Hulkenberg had diamonds for his issues rather than... That's a graphic issue then. It was actually a mechanical issue rather than a technical part, an aerodynamic part. So I don't know what's going on there, but Hulkenberg's out, but that's, relevant to our race. Hamilton pits now. Schumacher, don't worry about it, mate. Don't worry about it. Just follow Yuki. Just follow him. Use his better tyres. You're dropping Ricciardo. You're comfortably 11th as things stands, which will get us the count back on Haas. Let's not forget. That will get us what we need championship-wise, as we both get past, crucially, the Haas there. Safety car. Oh, friggin' pit entry's there. Has Hulkenberg just stopped on track then? Feels like a no-brainer for Zane to do this. Yeah, Hulkenberg's literally had to stop on track. Ricciardo got a pit immediately. I'm just thinking, following the safety car, you want to go all out. I'm probably going to have to go medium. It's so annoying that it happened now. I kind of wish it would happen like 2 laps later. I mean, the good news is the safety car won't pick us up because Leclerc's just pitted from the lead. So nobody who's pitted now is going to get the benefit. And crucially as well, Tsunoda pitted before Leclerc. Ricciardo, sorry, pitted before Leclerc. Oh, Jesus. Kamikaze Bottas. And Leclerc's actually already coming out, so that will... Ricciardo just got lapped in the pit. Ricciardo just got lapped in the pits. Because my concern was that if we pit, we'll end up behind Ricciardo. But because they've been picked up by the safety car, they might be going slightly slower than us. I don't know how that works in terms of overall pace. But Maloney comes out directly behind Hamilton, ahead of Magnussen. Out of curiosity, Ricciardo went on to mediums as well. A bunch of the front runners went on to softs. I'm going to say, I'm looking at Maloney here. A 3-push only gets him just to the end with a bit of aggression. As was, he was only going to get to the end. I know obviously the safety car will preserve the tyres for a couple of laps, but I'd rather have the ability to push the tyres from the safety car. And crucially, driver like Tsunoda won't obviously pit again, so we'll have better tyres than him. So Maloney's done well there. He's 15th. Mick's come in now. Yeah, the safety car's halfway round the lap. Still. Mick will come out well ahead of Ricciardo. We don't need to worry about him. This has worked out blindingly well for Mick because of Ricciardo getting lapped by Leclerc in the pit. Because Mick's going to be the last person in this train of cars that isn't lapped. Which means when they release all the lap cars, Ricciardo's going to be about half a lap down when the safety car actually finally goes. Yeah, so that gives Mick so much wiggle room to push these tyres later on. And of course we can push the fuel from the rest. Actually no, because he won't be lapped now. We'll see how much fuel we recover behind the safety car, but obviously we're going to be in a situation now where we're going to be going to the end of the race without being lapped with Mick, because we've got 16 laps to go and Leclerc's got to get, or Verstappen, as he is in the lead apparently. Mick's got to survive 16 laps without being lapped, whereas Maloney will have to unlap himself and then survive 16 laps without being lapped again once he's released. Is it Zhou Guanyu? No, Bottas. So Zhou Guanyu's lapped twice and in the chain. Bottas is lapped once and behind Mick. So we just let them get caught up then, eventually. So we actually are on a positive fuel delta now, so we can push the fuel. We'll burn that extra off then. I can presume this does the conserve anyway, because it's done the ERS. Just make sure we keep the tyre degradation down as much as possible. We're obviously right on the tail of Yuki Tsunoda, who has slightly worse mediums. Anyone in front on a worse set of tyres? No. Stroll's on a soft. Alonso's on a worse set of mediums as well. Lap cars may now overtake, so Bottas is going to have to come through the entire field. I don't know what goes on with Zhou Guanyu because he's 2 laps down. I presume they only allow him to unlap himself once. Crucially, Ricciardo's unlapped himself. He was the first one to be unlapped. So you've got to hope Bottas gets through and is far enough away that the safety car feels safe to go next lap. I think we might be all right. I think the safety car will go next lap then, I think, with just these 11 cars behind it. Oh, do you reckon Ricciardo's going to get on the back before we get going? Yeah, we're like 2 kilograms of fuel over. We're going to be fine. But it has set off. Ricciardo is half a lap down. It'll tell us how far down he is. I mean, obviously this is safety car speeds, but we have got the safest 11th place possible. Max has developed an issue onto the safety car. So safety car's in. We are racing again. Zane's, I think, got to lap Bottas immediately. Or Zhou Guanyu. It would be Zhou Guanyu, won't it? Zane's got to lap Zhou Guanyu straight away. Annoyingly, he's about 20 seconds to Albon is the issue because of this. They need to lap. But we are racing again. It feels like we're not, but we are racing again. Okay. No DRS, of course, so Mick's just got to go for it at this stage. Like, Ricciardo's by himself 20 seconds down, but now it's all hunting season on Albon, who is, again, 27 seconds down on Mick. So I think we feel like we've got, like, the safest 11th place possible. Problem is, Mick can't keep up with this train. Mick, do not mess this up, / Sainz or Tsunoda blow up. One of the two, please. Why does it feel like we're not going at full racing speed? It's weird. There's kind of 2 races going on now, but nonetheless, Oh, so DRS is only just enabled. That's probably part of it. That's why we've been in a holding pattern here. So as the DRS activates, this lot will start fighting each other a little bit more, I think. All right, so keep the fuel burning, of course, but other than that, we'll have to come off everything. The gap to Ricciardo is only getting bigger, but Hamilton and Albon are closing on that. So actually, Hamilton might be the danger for Mick still. 27 seconds ahead of him. 12 laps to go. Hamilton has to be 2 seconds a lap faster than Mick. And if Mick can get in a DRS, which he might do, and has done actually, I think, Mick's fighting for 9th because Tsunoda and Alonso have tailed off that batch ahead. Crucially, I think Maloney won't get lapped by the end of the race either. Hamilton, sorry, how is Hamilton 4 seconds faster? I swear that was done in 1 lap. It must have been 2. It must have been 2. Hamilton must have got through earlier and been 2 seconds a lap faster than Albon. Either way, he's absolutely just buggered off. But if Zane can get Albon, that's, you know, best of the rest for him. Oh, Hamilton's on a soft, that's why. He was just 3 seconds / 4 seconds faster than Albon. Hamilton's on a soft and seemingly going for it a little bit. I'm actually worried for Mick because that is actually good pace. He's got to get through Ricciardo, so Ricciardo will hold him up a little bit. I'm just hoping Tsunoda's fault gets worse because Mick's struggling to hold on. Oh yeah, Hamilton stopped pushing. He just absolutely pushed it for a lap and then now he's not actually closing on Daniel. So I don't think we need to worry about Hamilton after all. And Mick is struggling to keep up. Tsunoda's dropped Alonso somehow. Is there a chance we get into Alonso's DRS by the end of this if we start pushing things? Because we can possibly start going a little bit more aggressive on the tyre. Maloney's been fighting Albon this entire time. With 4 laps to go. Oh no, with 4 laps to go, Alonso started to go for it again, so never mind. Oh, we needed somebody for the top 10 to run wide. Maloney overtakes Albon on like the penultimate lap, so that could be the bad idea here. Hang her straight. That wasn't a hard. I don't know why Maloney's not just disappeared. It is a little bit concerning that Zane can't drop a hard running Albon. But similarly, 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go once he crosses the line. Go for it, Zane. Just try and drop him now. It'd be great if Tsunoda could blow up. Stroll's under 40% on his soft tyres now, but... Oh no, Stroll's about to hit 30% on his soft tyres, but it's 14 seconds to get... No, it's 10 seconds to get in 2 laps, which ain't happening. My only hope is Stroll maybe bursts his tyres because he's going to hit 30%. And then we can get him. Hamilton's tyres are going to go as well, by the looks of things. Come on, Stroll, pop your tyres, mate. He's got to do 2 laps on sub 30%, we're saying. Leaders have only just crossed the line. We have closed on Alonso. Sainz's mechanical fault gets worse now. Really? Really? So Mick's crossing the line now. 2.4 behind Alonso. It's a lot to get, but if we can just nab DRS by the hanger straight, he only needs to really get 1.5 by the hanger straight. And if Stroll's tyres could burst as well, that could be a free position. 2 seconds, 1.5, 1.6, 1.3. It's all over the place. Still 1.5. It's kind of stabilized at 1.5, 1.1, 1.0, 0.9 all of a sudden. Battle assist, please. We've run out of ERS though, unfortunately. Should have been pushing the fuel on Zane as well. And actually just pushing his deployment while we're at it. He did drop Alonso. Zane did drop Albon. Just got to keep an eye on the fuel for Mick here, just to make sure he doesn't go under. But other than that, unless he gets him in the corner, overtake aggression, Mick. It's literally the last corner. Go for it, mate. You haven't got extra fuel. You're going to have to stop. Come off that, though. Mick, go on. Do it for me, Mick. Please. To the line, somehow. No! It's the closest we've come. It's 0.4 seconds off a point. Tsunoda never blew up. It will be count back on Haas. It will be count back on Haas. Maloney gets a 14th again, despite the fact he started 21st this time round. We'll watch him cross the line, at least. He ends up less than 5 seconds behind Hamilton, who never made any more impact. Drops Albon by 5 seconds over the last few laps as well. Having only overtaken him on lap, well, I think it was like lap 49 or something. He only got back ahead of him then. You didn't do anything wrong, Zane. You just have to be lapped when the safety car came out, so you couldn't really do much more than 14th. It's just annoying how much pace cars like Tsunoda have with a fault. And it's annoying that Sainz didn't blow up and Stroll's tyres held on. Stop focusing on Zane Maloney after these. Mick's done a blinder. He was 11th. Not really lots to think about, is it? Oh, Leclerc won. He was on softs compared to Verstappen's rough mediums when the safety car came out, so it's just nice it not to be Max, really. First repeat burner other than Max, worth noting, though. I don't know what's going on the McLarens at the moment. They just seem to be well off the pace. So close, yet so far. Mick Schumacher. Oh, it was actually 0.249 on the line. My God, that was close. Zane up for 7 places, though. It was an insane performance from him in the end. Sergio Perez actually was on pole. I didn't even realise that. I saw a Red Bull on pole and I assumed it was Max. George had a good race, up to 6th in the end. Lance Stroll gets Lewis Hamilton in the championships, which is depressing for Lewis Hamilton at Silverstone in particular. Leclerc, it's 80 points. It's quite a gap at this point, but Mick Schumacher is up to 14th, ahead of Nico Hulkenberg, which says exactly what I think I'm going to be seeing in the constructors right now. Because count back, Mick's got Nico, who had 11th place previously. Albon's still ahead because he got 4 points, and I think it was Monaco, wasn't it? Zane doesn't get anything for another 14th. He does need to get, I think, a 13th to get Valtteri. It does make us best of the no-pointers. Yes. We don't feature on the DHL pit stop, even though the slowest was 2.57. We have had faster ones than that previously, but it was a 2.6 and a 2.59. Still, easily get our 800 grand. And Zane gets a 79. He's ahead of Mick. That's unfortunate. 4.6. Oh dear Lord, everything failed. All right, so we need to manufacture front wings then. Regulation vote. More gearboxes and more ERSs. Yes. Great. Zane and Matthew didn't get on better due to my intervention. That's annoying. I just need to acknowledge it. I was wondering what was holding me up there. It is 2 weeks until Hungary. We get a bunch of stuff manufactured again before then, and that was the rear wing being completed. But side pods, we get another one there, but I think I need to make another one because we just had to replace one. Because I need underfloors, realistically. I can get another underfloor in before Hungary, but that's about it. I'm just still trying to keep up with the parts that I need, but I think at least by Belgium we'll have all like enough basically, and then obviously over the summer break I can continue and get the rear wing that's being designed manufactured in time for Zandvoort. But I think by the time we get to Zandvoort, we'll finally be in a position where we're on top of the car parts and have what we need. Finally, it's only taken us half a year and 14 races by that point, but we'll be there finally. Regulation vote, I'll tell you the results of that course before Hungary. Hungary I don't think is going to be a fun one, although we actually are relatively good in low speed, and Hungary is quite a twisty turny one and difficult to overtake on, so we're actually reasonable in low speed now. Obviously other people are missing car parts, so that's not accurate, but we are it's one of our strengths now. We are 9th or 10th in it, so that's not too bad. Hungary's quite tyre hungry, if I'm not mistaken, so tyre preservation is good. It's quite low speed, so low speed we're in the top half of. Ignore this, of course, it's because of other cars not having car parts on them. But I think even so, I think we are 9th in both tyre preservation and low speed. It's one of our strengths, even though it's average on the grid. So we might be all right at Hungary. Next race, Zane will be back to having better smoothness than Mick, because Mick's is 78, Zane's is 82. He's got low affinity with the race engineer that he's actually been with for 68 weeks, which is very annoying. Zane's reactions are bad. I never noticed that. I guess I did notice that because it's probably... I wonder if that's a specific effect that's going on right now. No, it says only affected by mentality. How have I not noticed these reactions are appalling? Realistically, I should have it on pace long runs to get that adaptability and reactions up, really. That's so weird, I'd never noticed that. Race strategy is not bad as well because it includes overtaking, but if we can get the adaptability up a bit as well, because that's... I mean, it's situational, but if I could just get it to not being awful, that'd be superb as well. Nonetheless, Hungary next. We finally move up to 8th in the championship. Huzzah. Mick's up to 14th in the championship. Huzzah. But if you enjoyed this race and the one-off livery, then thank you. Do like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal by now. Until next time, ta-ra.